Hello and welcome
Hello.
to another
Hello.
wonderful and entertaining episode.
So entertaining. It's good stuff, I swear.
I'm visualizing, I'm creating that, I'm saying that it will be entertaining, and therefore it will be. I'm willing
That's
it into
right.
an existence.
It's like that, what is it, The Dream or The Secret or something like that, where you have the vision board, and then that vision board makes your thing come to life?
Yes, you cut out pictures from a magazine, you hang it up in your room, and then it all happens.
Like serial killer.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Serial killers get it done. They're very...
They know how to seek out what they want.
It's true.
Never met a more motivated group of people.
Unfortunately. Hey,
Yeah.
Ian,
All the people who could have been lazy. What's that?
who's that voice that I hear? That's a new voice.
Who's that standing?
Who's that
in my
Pokemon?
chair? Who is that Pokemon? That is Sydney. I don't know if you wanted to say your last name. I actually meant to ask you, how much information. I'll let you divulge all the information about yourself. But this is my good friend Sydney. Tell the folks a little bit about yourself.
We'll leave off the last name for now. It's changed since you last saw me anyway, because I got married.
Oh, congratulations.
Again, by the way.
I will tell you, it is a pun, and that is why I changed my name. Unfortunately, I won't be sharing it online, but...
That's okay. That's fine. I need to ask you when we're off the air, because I actually never learned your new last name. That feels almost like an insulting thing as a friend to do.
What kind of
It's
friend
alright,
are
it's-
you, Ian?
It's hyphenated, so it's still similar to how it used to be.
Okay. I think I know I've read it once or twice, but I need to. Yeah. No. We'll talk about it off the air. So how has the married life been for you? Like, has it been like, are you already making like the old ball and chain jokes already? Like,
Not
how's that
really.
been for you?
Like, it's so funny because when I was at an old job, I would get into fights with my boss because I kept being like, "Hey, I need these 2 days off. It's the same days off my wife has, and I'd like to see her a little bit." And they're like, "Haha, aren't you tired of your wife yet?" And I'm like, "No. Are you okay? Is everything okay at home?"
Yeah.
It's like a weird boomer humor thing. I think that's like
Totally.
prime boomer humor is where it's just like, oh, I hate my wife, and it's just like, why are you?
I know, it's a very straight person thing too, like, because marriage is still kind of recent for the rest of us.
Yeah, so like straight people kind of take it a little bit for granted. Where they're just like, ha ha ha, I hate the person I married, and then meanwhile a bunch of people go, well, we can just get married. So
Yeah. But it's been pretty great. Let's see, we adopted a dog. We got
Ooh.
a cat because the dog doesn't like me.
Aw.
She's anxious. She is a special needs dog. She's on like so much puppy Prozac at this point. And for whatever reason, she's just terrified of me. We don't know why. So, like, if I walk in my own house, she starts barking at me and whatnot. I think she's jealous because my wife is her favorite person.
But you're your wife's favorite person.
Exactly. I came first.
You stole that position from the dog.
Yeah, that dog's always gonna come in second to you. The dog's like plotting your downfall right now.
She also doesn't pay rent, so...
Yeah,
It's true.
So that dog's unfortunately working on a very unlevel playing field.
The one trick I've been unable to teach a dog to pay rent, but
I guess it
Someday.
depends on if you have a YouTube dog.
Yeah, I was gonna say Airbud definitely paid rent.
Earbud lived by himself probably. Like had his own studio.
Everybody probably kicked out his owners.
Yeah.
Yeah, Airbud's like, excuse me, guys. I
Cramping
think
my
I
style.
really love you. Yeah. But I don't do walkies anymore. Oh, I'm sorry. As you say, I don't go for WALKs anymore. I'm beyond that. Thank you.
We got some people in the chat already.
People in the chat.
We got
Buongiorno.
Z-Newts. Hello, Polygator. Welcome. And Maddie F.
Well,
Maddie F says,
got
all I
Lord
do is
Bing.
read the newspaper and hate my wife. So, there you go. He's full on.
Bada bing, bada boom. Someone take his wife, please.
I'll take it. Give me all the wives. I will cherish
Yeah.
them.
Everyone, give your wives to Sydney, okay? We'll get like a form sent out, like one of those like Squarespace form letters. You can fill out all the information about your wife, what she does, how what we can do to make things work out. Sydney will get all the wives. It's perfect.
I have a technical question.
Absolutely.
Is there a stabilizer in this program, or is it just like get good?
I think unfortunately it is at good variety. Oh, wait, you know what? No, wait, maybe not. You're using a pen tablet, right?
Yeah.
I have to assume because your drawings look so good. I love that Pikachu.
God, I wish I was talented enough to draw with a mouse.
Oh god, the people who work with the mouse are on a whole different plane.
I believe when Maddie F was on the show, he used a mouse. Just thought
Oh.
I'd
That's true.
shout that out. And created some real works of art.
God damn it, Matt.
What was that?
We allow our viewers to spend channel points to play certain sounds.
Amazing.
stream.
I am such a noob to Twitch.
Hey, if you ever looking to really get into it, we're happy to show you. As for, by the way, I found the smoothing option. If you in your brush panel underneath spacing, you should see.
Please, no! No!
I'm gonna let this play out.
We're also realizing that we made it very cheap, so they like
You
to
need to make
spam
it
us.
expensive.
Yeah,
I mean,
make it expensive.
I enjoy them too, but
I
it's
do.
disruptive.
I do like it, though. They've worn
In the
out their
best ways.
welcome a little bit.
You should-
So, just real quick, in the brush options, if under spacing is like input and it says stylus, and then there's like a button next to stylus. It's like two dots, like on like a thing. If you click that, it lets you set like how pressure sensitive your stylus is, and there's like a smoothing
Ah,
up top there that lets you.
I'll just live with my mistakes. It'll be fine.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it looks great. Honestly, it looks really good. I actually like the sort of not entirely smooth quality to it. It's kind of got like a cool, like
That
I
traditional
make a bunch-
vibe.
Exactly. Like I make a bunch of brushes in Clip Studio that are supposed to sort of do that effect to, in case they like look too smooth.
Oh, that's right. I have to go into Clip and like do my donate bits to people I know.
Oh yeah. I had so many Clippy tokens because people like first of all you did that, which thank you again for your donating your Clippy tokens.
Oh yeah.
But, I didn't know that they expire after like a couple months.
I
just, like,
lost 3,000 tokens.
Oh my god, that's so
I use
many.
Photoshop, so I don't know what any of this means.
Oh yeah. It's
yeah, I'll let you explain it. You've been
It's-
using Clip Studio for longer.
yeah, God, I've been using it since high school, back when it was called Manga Studio.
Oh
The
yeah, I
only reason I
remember
got
that.
Clip Studio Paint because you told me about it, and then I tried it, and then I was like, oh fuck, this is like way better than Photoshop.
Yeah, it's I mostly just like it because it's less photo editing. Like it's just straight up like comic drawing software, so you can make panels with it, speech bubbles. Like it even has like an option where you can like copy paste all of your story stuff in, and it will organize it into bubbles for you. Like it's really smart. But what makes it popular right now is it has an asset store, which like you don't need to use real money to buy it if you don't want to, and you can just
people give their stuff out for free too. Which is
yeah, and you can download like 3D models, which is really useful. So like if you're like, dang it, I can't draw this gun, you can download a gun model.
great. Which
it's
I've done a
dope.
couple
That's
of-
pretty nice.
couple of
Yeah,
times,
yeah, yeah.
I like
Which I'm
that.
pretty sure you could do something similar in Photoshop because it has 3D capabilities now. You just have
I
to,
believe so, yeah.
you just gotta download it from an outside source. But Clip Studio is also relatively cheap. Like it goes on sale all the time.
Brandon's actually, he's tried out Clip Studio, but he ran into like a weird issue.
Yeah, for some reason it doesn't want to work on my computer. It's like
It's unfortunate.
I've been trying to like look up what the problem is. It like there's like input lag, so when I'm drawing it like
Oh
I
yeah.
get jaggy lines, but
Hmm.
it's
I
not
wonder.
my fault.
I primarily use it on my iPad, so
Gotcha.
If anything goes wrong, I'm just like, curse you, Apple.
Yeah, you get to blame. I guess Steve Jobs isn't the person you can blame anymore because he's.
I don't know. I'll just blame Elon Musk. It's easier.
Bada bing, bada boom. There you go.
I blame him for a lot of things.
I like to blame Jeff Bezos. And with that, I wish we had a theme song for the Jeff Bezos shitting hour, where we shit on Jeff Bezos for a whole hour. You bald motherfucker. Fuck you, Jeff Bezos. Anyways, we can move
Go
past
back to
that bit
space.
for now. Yeah, go back to space, you dumb prick. Anyway, we've done that a lot on this show. Is just shit on Jeff Bezos, so it's kind of become like a.
Yeah, that's topical here.
He owns the platform.
Oh, and is it topical in? I guess I shouldn't say where you live.
I mean, I say it online all the time because Seattle's a big city, so.
Okay, cool. So yeah, cat's out of the bag. If you want to stalk Sydney,
bring it on.
There you go. Now it's a challenge, so anyone who is up for a challenge, just head to Seattle. Anyways, but is Jeff Bezos doing stuff in the old Washington state?
I've never seen him in person. I don't think he actually lives here. I know it's just topical to complain about Amazon because they cause a lot of issues. It's the same issue as like how Comcast is shitty for Philadelphia.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That makes sense.
Aren't they shitty everywhere? Oh, I get what you mean. Like specifically for the state.
Right, because Comcast is based in Philadelphia. It's the same garbage where it's like, oh, we'll bring all the jobs here, and then they only bring in people from New Jersey.
Yeah, and Comcast has the the building was under construction like last decade, I want to say, but it is the tallest building in the city, and it's so big. And then I think they built like a second building, which is like, it's not as tall except for like this one weird spire that sticks out on the side of it, like a weird like walkie-talkie antenna sort of thing but it also has a giant light on the tip of it, so not only is that the tallest thing on the skyline, but it's also got a big bright shiny light on top of it, so you can be like, oh, there's that bigger Comcast building that is like
doesn't pay property taxes.
Yeah, so it's fucking annoying.
Matty F says, can't wait for factory towns.
Oh yeah, that's right. God, oh man, since I moved out here, it's so funny because we fortunately live somewhere where we have free internet, but when we weren't aware of it at first, so when we were signing up, we were like trying to figure out like this local company versus that local company, and one of my coworkers was like, why don't you just get Comcast? And a little too aggressively, I just turned around and I was like, fuck no. And I felt bad about it later.
Nah, you don't gotta feel bad about that.
Well, it was just because I turned all this anger onto this person. I was like, I'm sorry. I'm from their home base, so I'm obligated to hate them.
Yeah, we gotta stick together in shitting on Comcast and Jeff Bezos. Fuck you, Jeff Bezos.
Yeah, fuck man.
Anyways, yeah, well, he's never gonna sponsor us. You're out in Seattle now. You're living the good life. You're married. What can you tell us about like the work that you do in art, or your history in art? I always like bring on artists and then I forget to ask them about like
art questions.
It's happened like 5 times. So why don't you tell us about your art?
Let's see. I'm not going to link it for obvious reasons. I'm pretty sure it's against TOS, but I actually got published since I moved out here. I got featured on Erica Moen's Oh Joy Sex Toy, which is a sex education comic. I did a story about going to a dungeon party for the first time as an asexual person, and what an experience that is.
I can imagine. I mean, I've read your story about it too, and it seems like it's a very cool experience that you wrote about.
Yeah, it was pretty fun. I mean, looking back on it, the entire comic is like, I'm sad because my wife's not here, because I can't use the forbidden word about it. I love my wife. I can't use the SIMP word.
You sent for your wife?
Of course I do. I'm her number one.
For someone, that's the one.
I thought, okay, I'm gonna allow it, but I always thought that simping is specific. Like, there's like the unrequited, like that's like the most fun, the hilariousest aspect of a simp. Like, your wife loves you back, which is.
Oh, she was the. I don't know if I ever got to tell you, Ian.
What?
The story of how we get together, because like I have some other friends, like lonely internet people, who are like, "You're so lucky. Like, how did you make that work out with your wife? It's like the dream thing." I was like, "Okay, so I'm the worst person to ask because when she asked me out the first time, I said no."
What? That's interesting.
Well, it was because like at
wore
the
you
time
down.
I just. I'm sorry, what?
She wore you down eventually.
Well, it was more like I had just discovered I was asexual. I had just broken up with this guy that was way too old for me. You actually remember him, Ian. His name was Kirk.
I do remember him. Yeah.
But,
I remember
yeah,
Kirk. I remember you telling us about
Yeah.
Kirk and his travails.
Yeah, he was way too old for me, and I had just broken up with him.
Yes.
And I was like kind of dealing with the fact that like I was different. And I was like, I'm asexual, which means like I'm not gonna mesh with anybody. And my now wife at the time, we had been friends for a while, and she was just like, I really like you, I think we should go out. And I was like, no, I'll never make you happy, we should just be friends. And then a year later, after therapy, my therapist was like, it sounds like you really like this woman, why'd you say no? It's like, she deserves better. It's like, well, what about you? And I was like, oh, well, damn.
You gotta take care of yourself too. You know, you gotta be selfish enough to be with the people that you want to be with. Or that doesn't sound right, actually.
Well, but like, it's don't deny yourself the opportunity for happiness just because you think it's not going to work out. You don't know. So I asked her out. She fortunately said yes. And then I moved out west and we got married. What the?
That was actually me this time because our our window. I think they paid for Ian to get punched in the face, but but the windows are in different spots, so I think I took the hit.
Oh,
Whoops.
no. Well, I'm glad. I reacted like I yeah, I just had like a miniature seizure there, Sidney. Don't worry. We have a thing people can redeem where it's like a little, I don't know if you saw it, but a little boxing glove pops up and punches us in the face a few times, and we have to, if we react, it's a lot more fun. But sorry to cut you off. But,
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Bad timing.
But
You're
yeah, the
telling us
long
the
and
story
short
about
is
how you met your wife.
I moved out west. We lived together for a bit. We lived together for a bit, and then we got married, and it all works out. And we still need to get a frame for that poster you sent us, Ian.
Oh hell yeah! I can't wait for you guys to frame it, but I'm glad that you got it. It arrived in good condition and everything.
Absolutely. Like, the only reason we're not hanging it up is because we want to get it framed. We're afraid of it getting damaged, so... Because, you know, it's Seattle, so it's wet.
True. I guess it's close to the coast, so it's going to be a lot more... climate there is going to be a little more humid and wet out there. Does it rain a lot in Seattle? Is Seattle a rainy city?
It's like, it rains more frequently, but, like, the amount of rain is not more than anywhere else. We've actually been going through a drought, so the rain has been a welcome change.
Oh, that's good. I'm glad to hear that, getting some of that precipitation out there. Yeah, I know nothing about Washington or Seattle.
Oh gosh, it's almost like you're just gonna have to come visit me at some point. I mean, really, you should come out for, like, PAX or something.
I should. I've got friends trying to set up a PAX thing in Philly right now. I don't know if I want to go just because of COVID and like that. Also, like, I've been really enjoying not leaving the house, and so now it's like inertia or momentum, I guess. It's like hard to sort of break into the new. Like when Brandon and Austin got me tickets out to the Midwest for my birthday, like that was like scary the first time I'd done it, and then I went to Philly like right afterwards, but that was easier to do because at that point I was already in like a travel like mindset. But now that I have sort of been sitting back in the house again for like months on end without leaving, it's like I gotta work into that like
Being
traveling
comfortable around
mood.
people.
Yeah, exactly. It's almost like agoraphobia, but no, it's more like I don't even know how to say it. Like it's inertia. That's the best way I can explain it.
It's hard to get back out there.
Hard.
Maddie F is being scolded in the chat for being rude by his wife, who was also in the chat.
That's hilarious. Well, yeah, we kind of glossed over. I feel like we should mention that Leviathan Den did subscribe for another month, and they.
Oh, thank you, Leviathan Den. You're
That's
awesome.
almost a full year. That's crazy.
Wow.
That's almost a full year of subscriptions.
They like us. They really like us.
Really like us. Leviathan Den also says, "Is it still sunny in Washington?"
My dog barking caused the internet to.
Oh no. Is your dog? Is your dog? Okay, so.
Sometimes.
Wait, what was that? Go ahead. I spoke over you, and I don't want to do that. What did you say?
Sorry, no, it's just my internet keeps like slowing down and then speeding up, so like.
Oh. And you said your dog's doing it? Is it the dog from Malignant? Or is your dog?
I guess so.
Is there a dog in Malignant?
There isn't, but I'm trying to make a Malignant. We watched Malignant recently. That movie is crazy pants.
Yeah.
I've never seen it.
You don't need to necessarily.
Don't need to, yeah.
It's not.
It's like
It's not animated, so it's not in my peripheral.
right. It's also a horror movie, and it's pretty violent, so that's not the kind of thing I think you like to watch. What sort of stuff have you been watching? Like, whenever we get on the show, we eventually just talk about all the stuff we're like watching and playing and reading, and this is that segment. I feel like this is a good segue into that. So tell us about all the pop culture that you are consuming.
Let's see.
Tell us all of it.
I mean, like, it's been a lot of, like, just sitting down and watching YouTube. My wife doesn't always like watching TV. Like, that's more of a me thing, and I end up just watching stuff I've already seen. But, let's see. We started watching Q-Force on Netflix, and that's been a good time.
Q-Force. I think I've seen preview images of that. Is that like the LGBT?
Yeah, it's like the gay spies. It's pretty fun.
Interesting. I've been meaning to check out, just like all of like I haven't been on Netflix for a while. I've been like going through Hulu and stuff. But I've been meaning to check out sort of Netflix's animated stuff, and like I need to finish up BoJack Horseman. Have you ever watched BoJack Horseman, Sydney? Have you ever?
I have
checked out
not. I've like got this horrible bias where like if I don't like the way an animation looks, it doesn't matter how good it is. Like I just can't bring myself to watch it. It's the same problem I have with Big Mouth, where it's like I'm sure it's very smart and intelligent and whatever, but like it's ugly. I can't look at it.
Big Mouth. I also was really turned off by Big Mouth's art style in the beginning, but I have found that over the course of watching it, I've grown to sort of like aspects of Big Mouth's art style. So that might happen for you. But I definitely feel you on that. Like if I don't like a show's like cartoon or something like that, and I don't like the art, I'm less inclined to check it out because it's not like judge a book by its cover, but I think
Judge an animation by its appearance.
yeah, judge and yeah, exactly, like by its like aesthetic choices. And
It took me a while to get into Bob's Burgers for that reason. I ended up loving it.
That's
It was just
fair.
like at first I was like, these characters are ugly.
Yeah, I love Bob's Burgers. That is such a good show, though.
Yeah, it's great. I'm glad I eventually did watch it, but it took me a second to get going.
I'll tell you what's a beautiful animation though is and this is actually like I've started being more okay with horror stuff. Is Castlevania on Netflix was.
Oh, nice. I've been meaning to watch that.
Yeah, me
it's
too.
so good. It's so good.
I've seen like animation clips of it, and the animation in it is like really good from what
It's beautiful, and so is Alucard.
Got another man crush in out of that anime right there.
Yeah, just got to add it to the pin board.
I forget, is Alucard Dracula or Dracula's son? Because
Dracula's
his
son.
name is Dracula in reverse. Okay.
Yeah, there's like this whole thing where his name's actually like Adrian, but like people would always joke that he's the reverse of Dracula.
Oh, and so it's not his actual. That's interesting because it's kind of goofy if you name your son or your child
there's-
your name but backwards.
There's this whole sad thing. It's really good. Like I guess the main plot is Dracula marries a human woman. Like he's madly in love with her because she's just sassy and doesn't put up with him. And she gets burned at the
Vegeta
stake.
Bulma situation. Oh no.
Yeah, she gets burned at the stake as a witch, so Dracula's like, you know what? Death to humans.
Fair.
And that's the
Honestly,
series.
Can't blame him. Can't blame him on that one.
Hate when that happens.
Yeah, I hate when that happens.
Me too, man. Like, just your wife burns at the stake. I play a lot of The Sims, and I had a Dracula wife, and she followed me. She visited my dorm in college in that game, and then like just walked into the hallway where the sun, like the wall was like made of glass panes, so the sun poured through, and then she just burnt to death. Like,
Oh no.
in my dorm while I was at class, and I was just like, this is quite the tragic story of that.
Tragic.
My sim is going to.
Well, and now you have to kill all of humanity.
I
Yeah.
have to kill all of humanity. Well, my to be fair, my sim that I made, I've done some pretty awful things. With like, I have to get that save file off the computer that's in the background over here, but that save file, I've done terrible, awful things to the population of that. Just to, like, I figured out how to game the clubs system. Like, I don't use mods except for the one that, like, kind of fixes the whole game. But I found a way to use the clubs system that in Sims Get Together, and long story short, I ended up birthing like 63 kids. So like half of the kids that like walk around, like they're becoming adults now. So I'm like I'm like going to the restaurant, and like half the wait staff are like children of mine, but so like different women. Because I found out you could make like a club with a sexy vibe. Like it's like a vibe where it's like romantic.
Oh, like fertile.
vibe. Yeah,
Oh.
exactly, kind of like that. So like in clubs, you set a vibe, and the vibe determines the type of actions that Sims like to like, or it determines the moods that they're in, and the mood your sim is in determines like what actions they're more likely to cooperate with. So you set a romantic vibe, and then you can like make your actions like kissing each other and things like that. So I was just like, okay, so you set the romantic vibe, you have them kiss each other for like 2 times, and then they're good. They like are already ready to like try for baby. And I was just like, what the fuck? So just trying it out, I like seduced the entire neighborhood, and then just I was like, this would be hilarious if I just had a bunch of kids, and then I have 63 kids in that save file now. So that is what happens when you realize that you can game The Sims. You're just like, what the fuck?
What happens when you realize you're God?
Exactly.
True.
And I mean, I've drank enough life potions. I've actually outlived all of the Sims that I initially started my file with, because you can drink a potion that keeps you alive and prevents you from aging. So I've been trying to get turned into a vampire, so I don't need to use the potion. But that's like a whole.
But your wife got
Wait,
burned up.
You can
Yeah.
you can just cheat it too.
You can't cheat it, but that's the thing is like I've done all these crazy things in the save file without cheating, but just by like gaming the system. And I kind of like finding all these exploits. I've been going through all of the expansion packs and just finding out all these different things that I can exploit to ridiculous ends.
Oh, Sims. I wish The Sims 4 wasn't so money hungry.
It's pretty bad, like how much you have to drop into it just to get like basic
Fun
gameplay
stuff.
functions. Yeah, it's really like the fact that there's the mod is or like the expansion pack is Sims Childhood, and that determines like if you can like with Sims Childhood you can like raise your kid and like instill values and stuff in them, but like without that your kid goes from a baby to like a child in school, and it's just like it's kind of dumb that there's no like toddler stage without. Or maybe they added, I think they may have, because people complained, they may have added in the toddler life stage, but you can't like parent them. Like
They just
they're
exist.
dumb. Yeah, they're just a dumb sim you gotta take care of for a while.
So you didn't-
which is, and it's annoying.
You didn't get to raise any of your 100 children.
Oh, I did, because I when I broke up with my girlfriend, I bought all of the expansion packs because I was just like, well, I'm not spending money on her anymore, and also I'm going to be spending a lot of time alone, so I will play The Sims, and that's what I did.
I'm
You
well
s-
spent.
You used to stream The Sims occasionally. I remember the one time I happened to just like tune in, and you were breeding frogs, and you had like 70 different species of frogs, and I'm like, what is this?
I go.
And then you have your sex cult going on in the background. You live a
Well,
rich
that's actually,
life.
thankfully, I haven't streamed the save file where I've had my sex call. Thankfully, that's the one over there on the computer. But
I feel like that's against you. Yes.
it's probably
It might be.
Here's the thing. That's what I call the club where I had the 63 kids because it just like when I realized that it was technically a club that was making them do this, I was like, is this a sex cult? Is that what I've made here? And so I just call it that now because it feels like
You're a godlike figure that is having children with every member of your group. That seems like a cult.
Yeah, I mean, I you know, it was a pretty polyamorous cult, so like everyone else was allowed to do stuff too, and you know, I didn't just make a bunch of women have children. I also
You're an equal opportunities cult.
we were.
That's good.
Anyone else could have been the leader of the cult. I just had to die first. So.
More cults should follow your model, I think. It's a lot
God, I just
healthier.
look to the left and I see this cursed Garfield.
I love
Garfield
Cutie
Chew.
Pikachu though. He's a cutie pie.
Yeah, because Travis, my brother, is getting into programming. We're actually talking about making a game with a long Pikachu.
Oh my
But,
god.
It would be like Snake, but you're actually that little apple Pokemon, Applin, and you are running from long Pikachu. Like it's actually a horror game.
Kind of like free ski a little bit. Like
Yeah.
you play the game for a while and then the Yeti starts chasing after you to kill you.
Yeah, that is pretty much like you're just like opening doors in a maze, pretty much, and then eventually you start realizing you're being chased.
What was that Yeti's problem? I was just trying to ski.
Yeah.
So he's
Wow.
eating people. I feel like that game had like a point to it, but I just played it as a kid to try to outrun the Yeti over and
At
over.
this
Well, I
point,
think you-
none of us remember.
Yeah, I think like when you play that, you're only allowed to ski for like a certain amount of time before the Yeti starts chasing you. So it's like,
Right.
no matter what. Like if you just want to like ski and have a good time, you can't because it eventually turns into the Yeti is chasing you. Which
I think you're trying to get
I
like
wonder
a
if
high
it's just
score,
to
and that's,
enforce
like,
the
the
game
end.
over.
It is.
What was that, Sydney?
I was just saying, I was like, I wonder if it was just to enforce a game over.
I think so because I think what Brand said, like it has like a high score thing that is like going up the further you get down, so they make it harder for you to keep going by giving you a giant monster that's gonna come kill you.
Yeah, because like, isn't it in like Mario? No, not Mario. Pac-Man. Pac-Man has a like, if you hit like a certain point, the game just crashes.
Really?
Oh yeah,
Wow.
I think if you get to like a certain level, you just get like the game the like system has run out of like maps to generate then, or it's like something in the coding, and then like it's just like the game crashes and that's over because they consider that beating the game because like the game just stops because you've beaten like all of the levels.
If anything, I would say it's an unbeatable game because there is no defined end.
True. There's no like, congratulations, you are the ghost champion.
Surprise, Samus is a woman!
Yeah. I remember reading in, I want to say Electronic Gamer Magazine or something like that. Like, it was like one of those video game magazines, and it was about somebody being like, when my brother found out that Samus was a girl, he like cried and broke his game.
What a loser!
I know.
Toxic
it's so
masculinity is it's a real problem.
It really is. People gotta get their shit together. Funny shit.
Oh man.
Sydney, do you have Disney Plus?
I do. I know it's bad and I shouldn't give
No,
Disney
it's-
the Moonies, but I do.
I also took a principled stand against Disney, but then my dad went and like we were like watching something as like a family the other day, like 2 days ago, and then that's just like, hey, so I got Disney Plus just now. And we're like, oh, okay, I guess we have that.
Oh, hey, you can watch Hamilton now.
I can watch Hamilton. I can watch all of the Marvel things. I watched. There's like a Muppet Halloween special that just came out that I watched. And that was like the first thing I watched on Disney Plus, which I'm okay with that decision. I'm okay with like.
Is it new?
It's like fresh to the service.
Fresh
It was
off
alright.
of the
Wow.
internet boat.
It was
Certified
cute. There's like a
fresh.
certified fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. It's cute. There's like a screaming goat in it. That's pretty cute.
That's my favorite Muppet. Screaming Goat.
They need mine too. They have like so I think the person who plays Gonzo is the only person left who is the original voice.
I feel like they just have to kill off Gonzo once he goes.
Well, the thing is, like, all the other characters, like, Fozzie sounds good. Like, whoever's doing Fozzie might be the guy who does Gonzo. Fozzie sounds good, but Kermit doesn't sound like... the Kermit... They need to get a new Kermit, because he's not doing a great job.
Get this Kermit out of here. That's what I say.
Get the hook.
Sorry to... Yeah, get the hook. Sorry to come for this guy's job, but, like, this Kermit does not sound like Kermit. He sounds...
Cancel Kermit.
Kermit is canceled, everybody. You heard it here
Sounds
first.
like a good way to get murdered by Miss Piggy.
Yeah, right? Oh, you want to? You want to?
Oh, hey, so if they need a voice for Miss Piggy, you got it
There
down.
you go. You want to cancel my Kirby?
Kirby!
I think the first thing I watched on Disney Plus wasn't even anything good. It was like, I just had a craving to watch The Adventures of Ichabod Crane and Mr. Toad, and I'm just like, alright.
What is that? Ichabod? That's Sleepy Hollow, but I've never heard of that. Is that like a cartoon or?
Oh,
It's an
yeah, so
older
it's
cartoon, right?
Yeah, it's a World War II era cartoon because, back in the day they released animations in theaters, and
Yeah.
Disney could not afford to release single features, so Ichabod Crane and Mr. Toad were put together.
Oh, interesting.
An
So it's
unlikely
just,
duo.
Yeah,
Is that
so
the
it
one
was...
that we were talking about watching for like a bad movie night or something like that. Is
Oh,
that
no. That's Freddy as FR07. That's a whole other beast.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but explaining this movie to me.
Oh, yeah. No, I'd much rather talk about Freddy. That is a magnificent masterpiece of bad theater. Because it was like
I'm excited.
Yeah, it's based off of this guy's, like, bedtime stories for his kid about a, like, French spy that's a frog, but the movie just goes ham. Because it starts with, like, oh, it's medieval era, this prince, his parents get bopped off by his aunt, boo-hoo, and he gets turned into a frog by her so she can eat him? I don't know. But he gets saved by the Loch Ness Monster, jumps into space, and then just grows up with other frogs, and then he decides he just wants to be a French spy for a while in the modern era. And that's the prologue.
Okay.
I just wish that story wasn't so predictable, you know?
Oh yeah, no, the
Yeah.
actual story is about Nazis stealing monuments.
Oh, wow.
God. Are they the
Oh.
Monuments Men?
Packed a lot
Yeah,
in
and there's
it.
2 boob jokes in quick succession.
Oh, boy.
Leviathan Den says, "Is it raining ice in someone's house over there?" Yeah, it's crazy right now. I can hear it like super windy out. I don't know what's going on. So in case the roof tears off and I get sucked out, you guys have to carry the show.
I'll do my best.
We'll try. How do you feel about being co-host, Sydney? Because it's like a Battlefield promotion. It's like in Starship Troopers, where
Someone dies and you just get promoted.
exactly, like Sam Fisher's like, "You're the fucking commander now. Throw a grenade in my mouth," or whatever the fuck I forget.
That's a very specific kink that man had.
He likes what he likes.
It does.
I mean, I'm not working right now, so I have the time.
That's very true. You
Busted my knee.
Oh
I'm so sorry
no.
to hear that, by the way. How did that? If you don't mind me asking, can you tell
Oh,
us
I
all
just,
the details?
I was I'm a cheesemonger by title, and typically stuck doing the night shift. And my coworker was supposed to put the stock on the shelves when it came in. He didn't. He just put it in the back room because he doesn't want to talk to people. And like, I get it, dude. I do. But now I have to do it while manning the counter alone. And I'm just like grumbling and pulling stuff off of the very tall, overpacked shelf in the back. And I fell off a ladder.
Oh no.
Jesus.
Yeah, I mean, I landed on my feet with my cat-like reflexes, but that was the problem, is it tore my ACL in the process.
Ouch.
Ouch. So now
So,
you're on bed
now I'm not
rest and you're
working.
on medical leave. But now is a good time to catch up on all the
It's
great
fine.
shows that you haven't had the opportunity to watch. Shows such as
Squid Game.
Squid Game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I haven't watched it yet, but Nope, it's everywhere. Everybody's
It's
talking about it.
everywhere.
So, which almost makes me not want to watch it. But it also, I feel left out. You know,
Yeah, I want to be part of the zeitgeist.
I want to be able to, very casually exhale a little bit of air out of my nose at the memes that I pass by every.
That's
10
right. I'm a
seconds.
raffle. I have a friend who he's like a friend of mine from Philly when I was working at the bank, and we're just good friends now that like we were friends before I left, but I've gone over this plenty of times. Anyways, but we were talking about some stuff like we were watching, and I was like, oh, I watched The Sopranos, and he's like, have you checked out Squid Game? And I was just like, no, but but they seem to really like it,
Nice.
so it's probably good.
Yeah, I've heard it's good from people I trust.
Yeah, it's just I gotta get in a whole mood to like. I just started The Sopranos. I gotta like get into a mood to watch like a whole show. There's no reason I'm not watching it. Honestly, it's
Yeah.
just there's
It's not
so
going
much
anywhere. You
to-
can watch it later.
Exactly. I'll be behind. I don't care. I feel like anytime I'm finally like catching up, and I'm like, I feel like I'm getting like caught up with all of the pop culture. Like a new thing comes out, and I'm just like, damn it! But like my previous estimate that I was caught up was based on the idea that nothing new would come out for a while still, and obviously not gonna be the case.
They just
Well, you
keep
gotta take
making
my
stuff.
stance. You just gotta. When people are like, "Oh my god, have you seen Game of Thrones? You should watch Game of Thrones." I'm just like, nah, and then I don't.
There you go.
It's a good way to do it.
Yeah, when Game of Thrones ended and all these people were sad, meanwhile I'm like, finally people will stop telling me to watch it.
Yeah, there was a lot of I was also that person sometimes. I can get pretty bad about that, where like if I get really it doesn't happen a whole lot anymore, but if I get really obsessed with a show, I will like eventually like be like one of those people who's just
Well, it's like you want to share something that you like with people that you like.
yeah, absolutely. I think it's like one of my favorite things to do is like showing people things that I've watched that I enjoy, but also you can't be there, I think, when you show somebody, and you can't like be the person who comes up with the idea. You have to like incept somebody so that they have the idea, because otherwise they're just not gonna like
Gotta be
watch
sneaky
it.
about it.
You have to
Yeah,
manipulate
because,
them.
like,
Yeah.
you have to make them think they want to watch it, because if you're like, hey, we should watch a thing, and they're like, okay, they might like look at their phone, and then like you'll get to like the moments where you're like, oh, this was like a really cool moment, and then you'll look over it and they just haven't paid attention to like what's been going on, you'll be like, wait, you were looking at your phone, that was like the moment, that was the moment.
Yeah, that's me. My ADHD brain is like, look, man, I need to be allowed to do other shit while watching.
I do.
Aw, man.
Sorry, go ahead.
I realized I was disconnected, so all the work I had just been doing didn't
Oh, no.
save.
No.
Dang it.
What sort of stuff have you been adding?
Oh, I was just coloring my skinny Snorlax.
I see most of it. I see a lot of blue there.
Yeah, well, I had finished doing it, so that's why I'm like, shit.
Oh no.
Because it was like you got in, you're into the drawing, so like you don't realize that something's gone wrong.
Shucks.
Like you're drawing on the wrong layer or something like that.
Yeah, very cursed.
We got Robin Astra in the chat says, still haven't seen Game of Thrones. So there you go. You guys, you're strong
You
in
should watch
numbers. Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I did actually get really nuts for when it was coming out was Good Omens.
I
haven't watched that yet.
I've heard really good things about Good Omens. I know a lot. A few people.
Yeah, I hadn't read the books. It was like I always started to, but I'm bad at reading now that I'm an adult and I have other shit to do. But my wife was super into the series and she recommended it, so we watched it together. I was like, this is really gay. I like this.
Is it a very gay show?
It's very much like I haven't read the book, so I'm not 100%, but like I enjoy the focus on the Aziraphale's and Crowley's relationship, like just these two ancient beings who shouldn't be friends, but they are.
Oh yeah, I mean you gotta love like that's what I think makes every show is characters.
Oh
'Cause,
yeah.
like we've all seen all the plot lines before. Like all the plot lines are like whenever we do a bad movie night, and like some of my friends, and we half the time we're like predicting what's gonna happen in the movie because, you know, the plot's always been done before, but like what really makes stuff good is when the characters are, because that's where you get like the sort of the niche, sort of like the uniqueness out of a story is like having these characters that you care for who enjoy seeing interact with each other. Like,
Yeah. You could write the
there's-
greatest story in the universe, but if your characters are bad, no one's gonna want to watch it.
yeah, exactly.
It's true.
Voltron.
Is Voltron, is that how you feel about Voltron?
Look, man, I was like into that like when it aired on Netflix back in 2016,
Yes, you
and
do.
I was so let down. I've never forgiven it, and I never will.
Sorry to hear that.
You can't build up the relationship between two characters with this whole like, oh man, I like searched the universe for you, blah blah blah, and then like have them not get together. Like, come on, man.
So they kind of like How I Met Your Mother, yeah.
Like, it was such a big deal because they had the main character, Shiro, the leader, who like be revealed as a gay man, and it's like, wow, that's a big deal for a kid show. And then they married him off to some rando instead of like, you know, the guy that shattered the universe to find him and like brought him back from the brink of death twice, fought him to
Feels,
the death. Ugh.
They did some will they,
It's like-
won't they, and the answer ended up being they won't.
Not only won't
Yeah.
they, but then they'd never speak to each other again.
Oh, that's fun. That's always weird when shows do that, when they're like, I've seen so many shows where it's just like these people had this amazing adventure and then they went their separate ways and they all lost touch and they never saw each other again, and this was all kind of pointless what you just watched because it didn't meaningfully last.
My feelings are hurt.
Yeah, it can be kind of a bummer sometimes.
So then I aggressively went on to make a dating sim to fix the end of the show. You made
I did
music
songs
for it.
that. I did,
Yeah.
yeah. We actually, one of those songs plays in the background of this this podcast. Well,
Excellent.
it's not a podcast, I guess it's a stream show thing.
So
Yeah.
for all of y'all watching, if you've ever played the As Many Times as It Takes Sheath Dating Sim, which is on itch, Ian did the music for that, and that's also here, so it's just a little gay.
That's just, yeah, this podcast is just a little bit gayer. So I'm glad you all know that. You can link to the dating sim. I don't care. You can do that in the chat if you would like.
Oh, that requires work.
absolutely. You find it. I'll be happy to find it for you while Brandon saves this
Yeah, I
picture
think-
that I think.
Are we all good on this one?
I love it.
I do enjoy this picture.
We did something good
I love
here.
that tr-
You know,
Oh, man,
funny
that was
enough,
great.
I think our very first episode, at least since we came back, was a Pokemon drawing where the bomb guy was like an Ash, and then we drew Pokemon versions of ourselves. I'll see if I can bring that up after I save this.
Oh, please do.
It's cute. Glad I committed to Bulbasaur Zubat monstrosity in the corner.
It's
I
an
do-
abomination,
I
but
like that.
beautiful.
Illicit Pokemon breeding goes unchecked.
I would love to see some like, so like Brandon and I have talked about this, but like I'm not. Is it in Pokemon Go or is it like in Sword and Shield where they have like different types of like the same Pokemon, but like
They've
they're
started
different
doing that the
types?
last couple iterations. There's like different areas of the world, and so the Pokemon is like a slightly different version. There's like,
Yeah, because I think Sun and
Hello,
Moon started it.
I think you're right.
I love that concept. That's like such a fun because like I've seen like coughings where it's like the next one where it's like 3 of them together, or maybe that is coughing or wheezing or whichever one.
I
where it's
know
got,
in...
like, smokestack hats. And
Yeah, he's like a
Yeah, it's a
mustache.
fairy
like a
type.
business looking.
That's a fairy type. That's fun.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's a
does-
pl-
it even changes the type of.
Yeah, they're different types, so that
Yeah,
kind of
they have-
makes
That's
it more
awesome. I love
interesting.
that.
Yeah, so there's like the Alolan Vulpix, which is ice instead, and then Alolan Sand Slash, which is also ice type. It's fun. I think it's a fun way to refresh old Pokemon for those people who are like, nothing exists past the first 150. You know,
Right.
me.
For sure.
But-
Yeah, exactly.
Look,
I like it
I'm
too.
old.
Hey, I'm. We're all. You're speaking. You're preaching to the choir here. We're all the same age-ish. We're in the same general.
I'm gonna
Age.
share on the screen real quick that Pokemon drawing. I found it. I was wrong. There's no Ash, but we did draw Newton and Chapman, which is
That's right.
the Pokemon versions of us.
Nice. Well, because like the Mons are at the end, my brain was like, Digimon?
Oh yeah, Digimon does have always like Agumon and the other
I don't know.
ones.
I wasn't a
only know
Digimon
on
kid
them.
growing up, so I don't know as much.
I was
Digimon characters
partially-
are the designs are wild. Like they
They have pretty wild.
basically like a cat like evolves into like a gun or something like that.
Well,
It's just like
And don't they
weird.
eventually evolve into sexy people or something?
A lot of times,
Do
yeah.
they? What? I don't know.
There's some
about
weird
that.
stuff going on.
Yeah, that's right. I had to change my Twitch password because they had that security breach, and now I don't remember what I changed it to.
Oh yeah, I gotta do that too. So yeah, please don't hack me in the meantime. And host your own DrawBomb. Leviathan Den says, unpopular opinion, and I'm fine with this, but there are way too many Pokemon now.
I mean, that's not really an unpopular opinion.
Yeah,
I feel like there's tons of articles about that.
That is a
I think it's
popular
very
opinion.
popular
I also think there's too much water in Pokemon, so
Like water Pokemon or just
no,
water?
there was like a meme at some point because I forget which Pokemon came out, and I think it might have been IGN or one of the review sites was like, this game has too much water in it. I don't know, it was just like a weird, stupid like complaint, and
That's
then it
funny.
became like a meme after that.
I
Yeah, there's a lot of them, but also like I don't know, like that they have instead of coming up with new mechanics for the games, they just keep making more Pokemon, and that's like the only new
But
thing.
they added
do.
the mechanic that matters. You can change your clothes now.
Finally.
that's pretty important to me. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Character customization is a huge draw for me in video games.
That's what got me back into Pokemon when X and Y came out. I had not played a Pokemon game since the original 3, so... Also, the professor was hot, and I was just like, yeah, get me in that.
Oh, does Oak take a course in beefcake?
If only. No, it's Professor Sycamore. He's French, and he's pretty, and that's all I
Oui,
want.
oui.
He's also an idiot, so...
Oh,
Oh,
that's perfect. Wait.
Speaking of Pokemon, did you guys get to play the new Pokemon Snap?
I did.
No, but I want to. I don't have a Switch.
Ah.
It's great. If you liked old Snap, they like totally like nailed it. It feels like more of like, you know, it definitely like scratches the nostalgic itch.
Oh yeah, no, when they...
Sorry, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
Oh, sorry, I was just gonna say, it's like, well, they bring back old characters, so it's just like, oh, yes, good. But it's also kind of fun to take pictures of Pokemon. Except the professor's kind of dumb. Because, like, he sees a picture of, like, a Magikarp being swooped away by a Pidgeot, and he's like, oh, look, they're playing! And it's like, buddy.
That's hilarious.
Who's gonna tell him? One of us have to tell.
Oh,
Professor
is
Mirror.
that Magikarp going to a barn up north?
He's going to the family farm, it's okay.
Yeah, that's great. That Pidgeot can take him there. I've seen somebody stream a little bit of it, and it looked like a lot of fun. I really wanted to play it, so I had to stop watching because I was just like, no, I want to play it. But I tried to, like, before pandemic happened, I tried to get a Switch, but they weren't on sale, and they didn't have the Switch, like the Switch Lights. I don't know what they're called, like the cheaper ones that you can't play mobile.
They
I
don't
think
hook
is
up to the
how it
screen, the TV.
they don't, yeah, so you can only play them like a Game Boy, which was fine with me for like a cheap gaming device during pandemic. Like that made a lot of sense. I didn't have a TV anyways. That wasn't like so I tried, but they didn't have those available at the GameStop. So I never got that Switch, and I kind of wish I had gotten a Switch. I feel like I would have had a lot more fun during pandemic if I was Animal Crossing it up with everybody.
Well, Travis has a Switch now, so you have to get one because they're dropping N64 onto it. And also, they're making a new Mario Party, but it has the old games in it. And Travis
hell
is gonna
yeah.
get it, so like you have to
Yeah.
get it so we can get the old crew together. And
we gotta do like another friendship ruining Mario Party night. Like it's gotta happen.
absolutely.
Go ahead. Oh, we just got another subscription from
Zone Dog.
Ooh.
Schmackety Doo. This is their
Friend of the
fourth
show.
subscribing. Friend of the show, guest of the show. Thank you so much, Zone Dog, for the subscription. Thanks again, Leviathan Den, for almost a year of subscriptions. Everybody, I just want you to look at what Zone Dog and Leviathan Den are doing. Take note; they're doing the right things here. You know, not trying to, you know, reinforce any sort of behavior, anybody. But okay.
Well, you're not reinforcing. You are rewarding positive behavior. It's positive reinforcement.
Right, take the cheese. You press the right button. Now the mouse gets the cheese.
Okay, so My wife used to be a dog trainer, and when we worked at Petco together, and I was sweeping, and I overhear her saying to one of her clients, it's like, oh, positive reinforcement's great. You can use it with people, too. I use it on my wife whenever she does chores without me asking her. And I'm like, I turn, I'm like, what? She's like, oh, secret's out. And I was just like, oh.
Have you noticed, like, when you've done the dishes and she gets home and she's like, good girl, and then she gives you like a treat or something like that?
If at this point I kind of just go up to her, I'm like, I did the dishes, praise me, please.
You like walk up to the foot of the bed and you curl, like you like do a circle and then you like drop down at the foot of the bed.
I mean, considering that I go to bed a lot later than her and like she takes up most of the bed when she's asleep, like that's kind of what happens.
that's she's got you trained. That's smart though, like using like the dog tactics to
Well, you can use it on kids too. It's actually kind of recommended, like, because if you praise your kids when they do something right instead of punishing them when they do something wrong, they remember the former better and less trauma.
Right.
Interesting.
Not that I know Ian doesn't have kids. Does Brandon have kids?
I do not have
Brandon
kids.
does not have kids.
Yeah.
I have cats, and they make their own rules.
So is there a theme for what's on the canvas now?
You can just draw whatever you want.
Excellent.
I'm drawing myself as a Pokemon Snap guy.
Beautiful.
Because here's the thing, when we start this section of the show, I actually have a really hard time because I don't know what it is, but like back in like high school, I used to have the easiest time like sitting down and being like, I'm gonna draw some fucking shit, and then I would draw just whatever. But now like when I sit down to like draw random stuff, I like feel like I like this weird pressure to like draw the right thing, if that makes sense. Like
I completely understand. It's like once you get skill, your brain's like, okay, but you can only make good stuff now, and it's like, but
yeah.
But you gotta make like 6,000 bad things before you make anything good.
I make 6,000 bad things, and also like when I just do like random doodles, like it doesn't end up looking like great anyways, and that like makes it harder because I'm just like, okay, well this next one's gotta be good, and it's just like this weird cascading effect of like
you put too much pressure on yourself.
Yeah.
And then like, you know, some like you, Brand, whenever you cause this jealousy in me, Brand. No, but you know, when you do like these goofy doodles, like your doodles look good. Like they look like you know,
thanks.
You spend time drawing them, and they look like the thing you were trying to draw. You know, I would like to be able to doodle like that, but you know, it's hard.
I think you're creating this like pressure for yourself when it's not necessary, because just drawing random stuff, and like some of your like weirdest stuff that you've made on the show is like the best stuff. So
yeah, like when I do eventually like turn my brain off and I just like doodle something random, I usually end up really liking it. It's just weird trying to get into that like sort of mindset, but you know.
Oh, psychology.
Maybe that's why doing this show is a good thing, is because then like I'm sort of forced into that space like once a week at least. Makes it easier for me to you know, really focus. Whereas, you know, it's like muscle memory eventually, hopefully.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I'm like,
Real quick, Zenit says, gotta go to sleep for work tomorrow. Good night, all my beautiful peoples. Thanks for watching, Zach. We love you. Let's see.
I did get a message from Zone Dog. He says I guess he thinks I'm a little quiet in comparison to everyone else. We can't have that. We can't have me. I am a centerpiece of
this reminds me of the time you screamed into a vuvuzela.
Oh god, I'm so sorry about that.
Should be a little better now.
Okay.
Zone Dog says, it's because of Brandon's branding.
God damn it.
I feel like you're saying
Brandon.
something here about my name, and we will not we don't do plays on words on this show.
Yeah.
So
None of that. So Sydney.
Yes.
Do you enjoy the spooky season?
I do, and like now that I am 30, I'm like reaching the stage where it's like I actually want trick-or-treaters to come. And like, God, it's the past couple of years, like we haven't gotten any luck. Like no trick-or-treating. Now granted, last year
Yeah.
there was an obvious reason for why. And this year we're prepared because we're just going to set a bowl out. And I don't care if one kid takes all the candy. If they get there first, that's their right.
Smart kid then, you know?
Yeah.
That kid's gonna
Although
go far.
we had a fight. Not a fight. We were just discussing as a household, like what kind of candy we should get. And we settled on those Dum Dum Pops just because, you know, you got to buy the candy really far in advance or else it's sold out.
You really do, yeah. It's kind of crazy how hard it is to get, like, appropriately sized candy around this time. Like, it makes sense because, you know, it is the season and all that stuff, but it's just crazy.
It really is. But, my wife is like, oh, I got this cute bowl for it. I'm going to open up the bag and pour it in. I was like, okay, but if you do that, you can't eat it. She's like, it's not going to matter if one or two are missing. I was like, no, I've done this slippery slope before. You can't eat any of it. It's got to make it to Halloween.
Yeah, it really is a slippery slope. Like, you think, like, 1 or 2 pieces a day won't matter, and then, like, you get to, like, the time of this, like, where you're trying to give the shit out, and it's just like, oh, no.
Where did it all go?
Oh,
How'd this
no.
happen?
Turns out I was the kid that took it all.
Gotta feed your
Yeah.
inner child.
I will say, I think Dum-Dums, like, Dum-Dums, I don't think they're gonna steal all of, because it's hard to
Oh,
get,
no.
like, a good fistful. Have you ever tried to, like, grab a fistful of Dum-Dums? Like, you get a lot of sticks, like,
Yeah, I was gonna say you're gonna get a Wolverine moment.
I want to know
Yeah, you get some...
the maximum amount of dum-dums a person can hold now.
I
need
want to
that
know
figure.
how many...
from
That
it.
sounds like something y'all could do on stream.
That's true, yeah. We should... If we had more prop segments, we would be popping off. It'd be like the Howard Stern show up in here without all the other stuff that Howard Stern does.
No idea what Howard Stern does. I've never watched his show. He's not animated.
He's not animated, that's right. Have you... So, you know, it is the spooky season. Have you watched anything Halloween-y? Like, do you have any,
Not yet.
Halloween
I like
season recommendations?
my old roommate was super into Nightmare Before Christmas, so I'm kind of burned off of that one. I guess I could like put on Coraline. That's a good one.
Coraline's good stuff. I like Coraline. My ex was a big Coraline fan, so like I've seen that movie now at least I want to say 50 times. Because she would just like push it on the TV and like that would be on.
Watch a little Over the Garden Wall. That's animated.
I
Okay.
have not
Checks
watched
out.
that one yet.
Really?
Oh, you should absolutely watch Over the Garden.
You'll like
I
it.
100% recommend
I
that.
think.
Yeah.
I just say that not knowing anything about what the stuff you do like. It's like, oh, you'll like
you're on
this.
point. I think Sydney would really appreciate Over the Garden.
Little mini-series Cartoon Network put out a few years back, and it's good.
I think it's on HBO Max. Like you can watch it. Is
Yeah,
it-
it probably is. They have most of their stuff. But
You
I
got
try to
that
watch that
HBO
most
Max?
years.
It's good stuff. It is. I mean, it's on Amazon too. Like you can watch it on Amazon. You can watch it. Like it's not. I don't think it's free on Amazon, but you can like purchase
You can
it.
find
or
it.
rent But I do highly recommend that. Because I have the Disney Plus now. I started watching the Simpsons House of Horrors because those are classics.
What'd you start watching?
The Simpsons Treehouse of Horror episodes.
Oh, yeah. There's some goodies in there.
Yeah.
Oh. What's happening?
Did we
What is
lose you?
happening? What's up?
Sorry, my everything just crashed all at once.
Oh, no.
I think my internet just went bad for a moment.
You're...
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's free internet, so it's not going to be perfect.
Hey, I mean it's free though. I mean I'll take it. You know.
Hell yeah.
My internet here in the six isn't so good. Except my parents pay. I feel bad whenever I bring up like that. It's down or being shitty or something like that. Oh, there you go. Yeah, you just left the.
So, yeah, it says you got kicked
Yeah, I'm
out.
getting
Just-
back in.
Okay, I just want to make sure you didn't draw too much and then lose it again.
No, I was like mid something
I like
or
your
other.
little-
There we go.
I like your rats that you're drawing though. Those are rats, correct? Like those.
They
little
are
drawing-
indeed rats. The big difference
Is it-
between rats and mice is rats have big fat bodies, mice have big fat heads.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. Okay.
It's true.
Huh. You have cute rats. I've seen your rats. They're cute. They are
Yeah,
not
we-
subway rats.
Nah, I mean, although I'm a goblin, and when I see just wild rats, I'm like, hello, little friend, where are you going?
I
To
mean,
the
here's
sewer.
the thing. I'm not
That's what they live,
horrified
right?
by subway rats, but I wouldn't feel comfortable with them scampering around my feet.
Well-
Does that make me a bad person?
No, I mean, it's a cultural thing. We are culturally trained to find rats repulsive. Like, think of their image in media.
Well, I think of the regular rats. Like if it was like a field rat, are those a thing? Are field rats a thing?
Well, that's
I
their
don't know about
natural
that
state.
ones. And it makes sense because subways weren't around very long for rats to have them as their natural habitat. But like when I think of a subway rat, like I know that rats can eat like metal or like they can like
Whoa.
chew through pretty much anything. So I think
Yeah,
like,
their
if a
teeth are
rat-
super tough.
Like if a rat were to bite me, I would be worried like it's gonna like put thousands of years of like or not thousands obviously like decades decades of years of subway stuff into my blood and also the plague. But that's just specifically subway rats. But like I don't even know if that's.
Did you
Well,
not
I mean-
get your vaccine for the plague yet?
Rats are prey animals, though. So they're not likely to come after you, except for New York rats. That's a whole other beast. But
Those are the ones I think of when I think of like I've seen the subway rats in Philly and they don't really worry me all that much. But I've seen some subway rats and I'm like, those motherfuckers don't care. Like
yeah, they need a baby.
Yeah, they would eat a baby.
They'd be thrilled to have a baby to eat.
Mm.
Yeah, they'd be like, this is the best meal we've had all week.
Oh, delicious.
Yeah.
Yeah, but rats are just largely misunderstood. They're very smart. They're very cuddly. Like because they've been bred for science for like nearly 100 years. Like they've been bred to be handled. Like to the point, like when I was working in the pet store and people are like, I a pet for little Jimmy. Should I get a hamster? And I'm like, oh god, no. Hamsters are awful. They're so mean. And they're like,
That's
what?
I mean.
They are. Well, they're not
Everyone-
as domesticated yet.
Yeah, everyone who I've known who has had a hamster has been bit by that hamster.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
And-
no
Everyone
one's
who's
ever-
been in close quarters with hamsters has been bit by a hamster. I've never even had one. I've been bit by a hamster.
Yeah. Hamtaro lied to us all.
Hamtaro did lie to us.
Also
You know,
setting
you-
up unrealistic expectations of how those cages should look.
Oh, like the big. Does Hamtaro have a big fancy like mansion cage?
No, he has this tiny cage. Like it's a field animal. It needs to run. Also,
Oh,
you
I
should
see,
keep him in
I
a
see.
tank. They escape cages way too easy.
Oh, interesting.
This is true for all rodents. If their skull can fit through the whole body's going. Except for like domestic
Oh.
rats, but that's because they're fat as hell.
Don't cats operate off that same principle? Like if they can fit their head through, they can squeeze their whole body through?
Yeah, because their whiskers are typically the size of their body. So they measure things with their whiskers to determine if they can
Oh.
fit.
That's a cat fact, everyone.
Ayy.
You're learning a lot about rats, cats, and all those facts.
I am the rat ambassador. That's like my title.
I will give you that
Pretty
title
solid
in our Discord server too. I'll do that right now. I'll give you the role.
Well, it's true though, because whenever people are like, ew, you have rats, and it's like, hang on a second. We're gonna have some education right now. They're wonderful. I love them. We don't have any right now, because our last set of rats I had with my wife, they were special needs rats, so like, I think something went wrong with their breeding, so they were kind of dumb for rats. So, after they passed, we decided, like, let's hold off until we get a house. Because, again, they're field animals. They need to be able to run. Like, the cage is where they sleep. They have to be allowed to run around your house.
What color do you want rat and bat to be?
I mean, pink. I like pink.
Or rat ambassador pink?
Rat ambassador, very different than Rat King.
Yeah.
True. Oh god, we drew rat kings the one time. That was something to behold.
I've known a few people who have had rats, and they all like them a lot. And I've heard they're very smart and very
Yeah.
sweet. And I've only heard good things. So, yeah, I'm
seem like a good
open
pet.
to the idea. And also, my
Can't remember
fiance
the-
is the type of person that would want everything as a pet. So, like, nothing's off the table with that.
Legitimately same though. Like I totally would have everything. Like first of all, I want a ferret because like those little like fucking furry worms are so fucking cute.
The tube snake. The cat
That-
snake.
That reminds me,
Yeah.
I was driving the other day, and I noticed something in my peripheral vision. I look to the car that's in the lane next to me, and the person had a ferret up against the window, and it was just like, it was like a worm, and
So cute.
and I proceeded to try to match their speed so I could just stare at this ferret while driving as long as possible.
I was gonna say that's terrible driving.
It is, but you know.
Yeah, I got to
Fucking ferrets.
take care of ferrets a lot at Petco, so
Are they
that
good-
was.
Do they make good pets, or are they just like the kind of like novelty pet that people? end up,
It's-
like-
You
They're
have
real
to know what
stinky,
you're getting
right?
into. They're very stinky. Again, they're another animal. Like rats, ferrets, and guinea pigs fall in the same category of they sleep in the cage. Their home is your house. You can't just keep them caged up all day.
I'd be okay with that. I mean, I would want to be able to like find the ferret and cuddle him all the time anyway.
Well, that's the thing though. Is they're gonna steal your shit and hide it in places.
Yep.
Oh,
My-
well, I mean,
Thieves.
my ex had a cat, Boston, and like I love that cat. He was so super cute, but like he played a game where he would take pasta noodles, like cooked ones, and then he would like hide them in my shoes.
Oh no.
Like this
Where's
is like
the
a
cat
like this wasn't like a
getting all these
one-off
pasta
accident.
noodles?
Like this was like, I mean, I don't know why. I think after we noticed that he was doing it, like he would specifically put the pasta noodles in my shoes. Like we saw him do it. Like he would take. The
He's
pasta
feeding you.
noodles to my shoe every
You're
time.
not
and I'm
eating
just-
enough. You're all skin and
Sometimes I would
bones.
put the shoe on and I'd be like, "Fuck, there's a noodle in here." I know for a fact that once my ex noticed that he was doing that, that she would like if we had pasta, she would like give him some noodles to do with that.
Definitely.
because,
Yeah, you don't
It was
squander
cute.
that gift when you have a cat that does that.
Yeah,
Um,
my southern upbringing tells me that when somebody gives you food, you eat the food. It doesn't matter if you like it.
yeah, absolutely.
one of my coworkers used to have ferrets, and he's like, if you come over to his house, they're just running around, and he's like, all right, when you go to leave, let me know because it's gonna take your shoes, and piles them up in the same room. So like you go to the end of the house, and there's just a pile of shoes, and it would just take everybody's
I
shoes.
love that. That sounds great. I would totally pay extra for that, like out of an animal.
But yeah, like you have to have a huge cage for them, lots
Yeah.
of toys. Like they're a high maintenance pet.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm not great with high maintenance pets. That's why I like cats over dogs. Is because
Yeah.
a dog you have to like walk and shit. But I don't know. If it was a ferret, I might figure out a way. It would depend on how because the thing is like I don't feel right having a pet unless like my shit is together, and I haven't felt like I've had my shit together for quite some time. So if I had my shit together, I'd probably feel differently about high maintenance pets than I do right now. But I don't know.
Yeah, it's mostly just high maintenance because like yeah, you have to be home because they get lonely very easy. So like we would have a lot of yeah. We had a lot of customers who would come in and be like, my kid wants a ferret. And it's like, all right, how much research have you done?
That's the thing. So many people get pets and they just don't do the research to like find out like, oh, is this like at all a good idea, or am I just gonna drive this thing out into the woods and like be like, here's your new home?
Yeah,
Right.
it was like the only good thing we were allowed to do at Petco was like if we suspected that this person was not a good potential owner, we could like deny the sale. Unfortunately, management was shit. So sometimes they would supersede us. Although we did have one customer, oh my god. Like, I try not to judge in this case, but this woman had 10 kids,
Oh,
all
dear.
screaming, and they brought back a budgie that they had got, and it just wasn't working for their family, which that's
A
fair.
budgie?
A parakeet.
Oh, okay.
And like it wasn't working for this family, and this poor thing, we like opened the box it was in, and it's just huddled in the corner. It looks
Aw.
frightened, like, and like seeing these kids, like the first thing they did was they ran up to the parakeet cage and just 10 pairs of hands banging on the glass. We had to like go over and be like, hey, please don't do that. And so I referred her to my supervisor at the time. And I was like, dude, you cannot sell this woman any animals. Like, just give her money back and tell her that we don't have anything that works for her family. And bless this man's patience. He, like, walked her wherever she wanted to go And she'd be like, well, what about a bearded dragon? He's like, I don't know if this is right for your family. It's very high maintenance. Like, he just, like, pretty much, like, anti-sold her.
Nice.
For, like, every animal.
Because, you know, when you work at a pet store, you are, like, sort of entrusting complete strangers with a living thing.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
And I would actually have a really hard time working at a pet store because I would just, like, not trust like, anyone would be like, oh, these kitties are so cute and they need a loving home. Like, could I get one? And I'd be like, I don't know about you, man. Like, these cats, you know, I don't know if you were fucking...
I'll need to hang out with you for a week and then I'll decide.
Well, there's the capitalist portion, too. They really take advantage of your love for animals. Like, I was the aquatics expert, and they would constantly get on my case that I wasn't doing enough to, like, help the animals, and I didn't care enough. And it's like, you are not giving me enough time. Like, it drove me to quit, because I was like, I can't do this anymore. It makes me too sad.
Right.
That's fair. That's 100% fair. I wouldn't have lasted, like, a week.
Well, it was fun at first, because, you know, you actually did get to play with animals as part of the job, like, because you're socializing them. Like, we would pick up the baby ferrets, and we'd hold them like a machine gun and point them at each other, be like, ba 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 ba, and they'd just be like, hey, this is happening.
I would actually be really terrible for the job of socializing the animals, because I'm like... Here's the thing, I love animals, and I'm not, like, abusive of animals, but I very much have, like, a Lenny from Of Mice and Men personality, where, like, if I see, like, a dog or a cat, like, I want to, like...
You crush it to death?
And I want to hug him and pet him and squeeze him all over. And a lot of animals are okay with that, but sometimes it can be a little much. And, like, if like, cats do like me, because I do respect cats, and I'm just like, I get it, like, if an animal is meeting me for the first time, I'm very good about, like, respecting its boundaries, you know, like, letting it get acclimated to me and things like that. But the moment that animal starts to trust me and will let me touch it, it's Lenny time. Like, Lenny comes out. Rub my face.
You would love my cat.
Yeah.
He lets you do whatever you want to him. He is just a lazy
I already love
sack.
your cat. I haven't met your cat yet, but I already love him and I want to play with him.
Yeah, his name's Repeat, and he lives up to that name. But yeah, he's super lazy. He's a little kinky. Like, he likes it when we pull his tail or when we spank him and stuff.
Yeah, Theo loves it when you spank him. We'll just come up and, like, beat on him like a drum, and he's just like,
what?
In heaven.
I'm sorry, how do you guys find this out?
Well, because, like, at first we found out because
my
it makes
cat,
him...
and then it turned out it was having the opposite results.
It's like, it's one of those things where, like, you know, you're just playing, so, like, you just, like, bap bap on their butt, and then they, like, back into you and start meowing, and it's like, oh, you like this, you're a freak.
That's so fucking funny.
Yeah.
He also likes to be crushed. Like, he likes when we lay on him.
Oh, interesting. See, that would totally be a cat I could vibe with, because my cat, it's not, so, like, I you know Sprinkles, Sydney, you took care of Sprinkles actually for, you
the
took care of
saddest cat
Sprinkles
ever.
for a while. She's actually a very happy cat, she just looks sad all the time. She's got the Garfield eyelids.
Yeah.
So,
the way her fur grows over her eyes just makes her look sad, so we'd poke fun at her, be like, what's the matter, Sprinkles? Did you have a hard day at the office?
Do you still have Sprinkles?
My parents take care of Sprinkles, and I live with my parents, so I do have Sprinkles right now, but, like, my parents' house has been, like, the perfect house for her, because she gets, like, an outside, and she
can
take care of her. But there are also other animals that live here, so there's, like, 1 cat and 2 dogs that she's also living in the same house with, so she gets mad sometimes. But anyways, so, like, I will, you know, pet her and love her, but she hates being, like, even, like, if she thinks she's getting, like, squeezed at all, she, like, will flip out.
Yeah, that's right. She's really sensitive about her lower back.
She is. I've actually been, like, lately she's been letting me pet her across the whole body, like, head, tail. Like, she will, like, you pet her head, she'll walk so that your hand just automatically, like, goes to her tail, like, just if you hand in place. So, but then she'll get mad because you touched her butt, and then it's like, well, you moved your butt into my hand. But lately, she's actually been getting pretty okay with it. She will get mad after a little bit, but if you, like, you can pet her butt now, and at least she lets me pet her butt, and she's a little bit nicer about it. This is a weird conversation. I pet my cat's butt.
I mean, all cats do the butt evader. Except for
Sprinkles. Do the butt evader. Yeah. So cats usually love being pet on the ass, except for Sprinkles. She's a weird case.
She says
There's my
no.
cat that loves to be spanked because he's a freak.
You've been a naughty cat. You've been a bad kitty.
No, yeah, we'll tell him all the time. It's like, we kink shame in this house, buddy.
Cat's gotta know that what it's doing is ungodly.
Yeah, he's also just like a menace because he's a goblin for food. And our dog is like, has to take medication. So like, we put it in her food. And if she doesn't eat it fast enough, then, you know, Pete comes over like, oh, is this for me? It's like, stop it. We had to call poison control last time.
Oh my god.
Quit eating the spiked food.
That's right. That's the crazy thing about animals is like they will eat, like sometimes like it can be so hard to get the animal to eat the damn food, and then you'll be like, oh, here's poison, here's literal poison, and then the animal is just like, what, you got fucking poison? I want some of that. I want that poison.
The dog does. She won't eat her own damn food, but she'll eat the cat food.
Ridiculous.
Which is also medicated because Pete has urinary problems. So it's like, dang it, animals, like, eat your own shit.
Fucking food.
Except for the dog who eats the cat shit. She needs to stop that.
He
Recycling.
needs to definitely stop eating the cat shit.
Leviathan Den says, I want a capybara so bad.
Those are
There you
good
go.
animals.
It's like a giant rat.
The giant rat that loves everyone.
Are capybaras like good? Do they make good pets?
Well,
I don't know anybody that has one.
I know that they're very popular in animal rescues, like exotic animal rescues, because they just get along with all animals. And they're very calm, so other animals tend to enjoy them.
I know that about capybaras. They're super cute though. Like they got like the big butt noses and like I think about like when I think of something cute like capybara claws, like their little tiny like I don't know, capybara claws just make me think they're very cute.
They are cute.
I have a coworker that has like 2 sugar gliders.
Ooh.
I had a friend who back in college where Sydney and I met. I had a friend who also kept sugar gliders.
Yeah, Dimitri and Anya.
Oh, I was actually thinking of did Dimitri and Anya also have sugar gliders?
No, that was their names, the sugar gliders.
Oh, right. And those were Jackie's, right? Like
Yeah.
she kept
I remember
them in
because
her
Dimitri
shirt.
liked boobs.
Yeah, and she kept them in her shirt. She'd be like, "You want to see my sugar gliders?" And then she'd like.
Oh my
she'd
god. I remember
they're
her
super
like
cute, though.
it was like after Vincent was like, it's Sydney's cool, you can show her Dimitri and Anya, and it's like this whole thing where they bring me into the bedroom, and there's like a blanket covering a box, and I'm like, are they about to show me drugs? Is it a body? What's gonna happen? And then I looked, there's a cage with sugar gliders, and I'm like, oh.
This was not what I was expecting, but pleasantly surprised.
They're being so shady about it.
I don't know why they were so shady about it. I do remember that though. But they were cute little sugar gliders.
Yeah. Yeah, because they're named after the characters from Anastasia. John Bluth's film.
Oh, okay.
It's
Those
Fox
did seem
Soup.
like very specific names.
Yes. Dude, Don
Is
Bluth's my
Anastasia-
favorite animator.
Is Anastasia on Disney Plus?
It is, because Fox owns it. It is.
Fox is owned by Disney.
Yeah, I think Anastasia and Small One, which is a Christmas movie, are the only Don Bluth pictures that are on Disney Plus. And I need to get the Don Bluth stuff on
Could be
DVD
more.
because I love his shit.
Where, like, yeah, I wonder where you can find like most of Don Bluth stuff. Cause did he do Fievel? Like, was that Don?
Yeah,
Don Bluth?
American Tail.
Okay, yeah, like
It was on
that's-
Netflix for a while.
Yeah, I was gonna say I feel like that was on Netflix for a while, but there's something to be said for being able to find somebody's like whole collection. Somewhere,
Yeah.
you know?
I'm just gonna have to buy all the DVDs separately because he did Troll in Central Park, Thumbelina, American Tail, Five Goes West.
A lot of classics.
Yeah, he did Dragon's Lair, which is a video game.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
One of my somebody who I like, some of my friends, they're friends with somebody on Twitch who we may have also met in, like I met them at a party in college, but you may have run into them as well. But they've been streaming like all of the Dragon's Lairs games for the like recently, and it's pretty wild just watching.
It's
Like, first
hard.
of all, they're hard as shit. And also they're like interesting because like you'll go to a checkpoint, but like they'll randomize what the next like obstacle is. So like you
Yeah.
never get like this. You can't like prepare for like the crazy fast like timing that you need to have for those games.
I remember watching my dad play that on, God, it was an ancient computer. I think it was either an MS-DOS or a really old Apple computer. But I just remember like sitting next to him and watching him get all the way to the dragon, but he just could not beat the dragon.
So frustrating.
I know. When I told him that it was
titular
on
dragon.
Steam, it's hard. Also, that is one of those moments I distinctly remember Princess Daphne from when I was a kid and thinking she was really cool. And I look at her now and I'm like, I'm on two minds. One, I'm gay, so she's really sexy. Two, this is a terrible portrayal of a woman.
Oh yeah, no, she just like she just screams the whole time. She's like,
Well, she's got like the breathy voice and she does all the poses and it's like,
oh yeah, yeah.
this is hot, but also,
But
You know,
I'm mad
yeah,
that I
it's
like
just-
this.
It's like, I
Look,
want to be a feminist, but I also want to be horny.
Yeah.
I mean, you can be both. I think you can.
Oh, definitely.
What's the Venn diagram like on that?
I think you can definitely be feminist and horny at the same time. I think you have to. I think you have to outwardly be feminist first, but you're also like allowed to be horny.
Well, that's
But,
why
like,
I do a lot of like work in not safe for work stuff. Is just like, this is how I make the content I want to see.
Yeah, there you go. I feel like that's probably how a lot of people sort of get into that stuff. Is they're like, no one's scratching my itch. I might as well.
I scratch it myself.
mine."
Got to do everything myself in this house.
Yeah, or they do it for the money. I mean, there's really good money in NSFW art.
Well, and it depends on the kind. Like,
Yeah.
Like,
unless you get like a Patreon popping or something like that, you have to sort of get published like you do.
yeah. Well, like, and like I've been really into playing Genshin Impact lately, which has a lot of really good art. But like, you know, all the NSFW stuff is like really heavily catered towards straight guys. So trying to find like stuff that's like more queer is just like, come on, man, it's like pulling teeth.
Yeah, representation is something that I'm sure is a big motivator for, you know, sort of branching into like making that sort of stuff, is because it's still like you just said, like representation. There's not a lot of that. Like, there's not a lot of people
Genshin Impact is a Chinese game, and unfortunately, they just had some very strict regulations go into place. So, like, you can't have feminine men anymore. You can't have LGBT stuff. Like, it's all this complex stuff. I'm probably misinterpreting a lot of it, but like,
mean,
I
yeah,
understand.
their
Like,
it's very oppressive. I'm sure that branches into like what art you can make and things like that.
yeah. Well, it's for now only applying to games because like they're doing a crackdown on kids playing games for too much in China and stuff. It's really interesting
they
to
have
watch
it.
happen in real time. But
Well, they when it comes to like, so like, you know, movies in America, like they make a lot of money in international markets, and a lot of the money from international markets does come from China, which is like Chinese movie distributors usually have they call it the no ghosts no gays sort of rule, where in movies you can't have like supernatural like ghosts or apparitions, I guess, because I don't know how that works into their sort of oppressive sort of rules specifically, but then like, you know, no gays kind of explains itself as to why they might be oppressing people like in regards to that sort of market. But those are rules that I've heard. So like a lot of movies like will.
Well, that's why Disney is really careful.
Yeah, that's why in Disney you'll find like a lot of like scenes with like gay representation and like an easy to cut out sort of like snippet.
Yeah.
Like, they'll be like, hey, check it out, we have like a gay character in a movie, and then like they'll have like one shot where like they'll cut to them and like they'll kiss a woman on the cheek, like a woman will kiss another woman on the cheek, and they'll be like, look at that, there you go, gay representation. But then they can just edit that out with like a quick cut.
Yeah.
For China.
Well, that was like I just watched Onward recently, and like it was not even like visually represented. It was just someone mentioning their girlfriend in passing, and it's like, well, all they have to do is just dub it out, like bada bing.
Yeah. So
well.
that's the interesting thing, is because I've heard, like, you know, have you watched the Netflix movie Meet the or not Meet Feet. The Mitchells versus the Machines. Is that what it's called?
Another one I need to watch, like, because the animation
watched
looks
it
really
either.
solid.
I think you should watch that because I think you'd enjoy it. And I have heard some people say recently like that movie was a good example of representation in a movie, and I don't, I'm not asking you to like judge. I'm just just telling
Is
you.
it gay enough?
Yeah, I'm definitely not the person to make that judgment call, but it's interesting because they don't really hammer in the representation either. Like the main character, she's got a rainbow flag pin, like she's got like a couple of pins on her like hoodie that she wears. One of them is a rainbow flag, and then like during the intro, they mention like this girl that she's like really interested in like hanging out with, and then like in the epilogue they mention like, oh, so you're going on a date with so and so, and it's a girl's name. So they sort of, it's like very subtle sort of stuff where they're like letting you know like, oh, this character is dating a woman and she's a woman, so like there's representation right there. It's very subtle, but I have heard people say that who are in the LGBTQ community say like that's representation that they enjoyed. And I think maybe because like the rainbow flag pin makes it harder to edit out because it's in like any shot that the main character is in. But it's weird because it's still very subtle, and it's very like you could, I guess, technically hand wave it away and be like, that's not representation. Like it's mentioned in a line, they could cut that line out. But I've also heard that as like good representation. So it's interesting, like sort of what people consider to be good representation, what's bad representation, and like what's enough. It's I think that's the
it's
lot of
I would
people are-
say the
Sorry, go
big
ahead.
battle is it's so complex because like I think it's far more important to like get queer people on staff rather than on
Yeah.
the screen, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like
Absolutely, 'cause
if you have
representation is
Yeah,
starts,
it
before
bleeds
the screen.
in. So like I hate to say it, like the big hurdle right now is with kids, because you'll have a lot of these, we call them in some circles of mine Puritans. Like they're so weird, like they want everything to be like perfect and fluffy. Like if the
Oh, yeah.
representation is messy or dark, it's bad. And it's like no, because like we need nuance. Like I want all queer media to exist, like to the point that it's not even a separate thing. Like it's just there.
Yeah,
And like
like,
we're a long
the
way
fact
off
that we
from that.
yeah, absolutely. The fact that we separate it, I think, is not
Right.
helpful. But I also understand, like, there's also like the flip side though. Like, some people want to specifically see queer media, so having that separation is useful.
Oh, of course, yeah. It's
so
just
it's
more
hard.
like
Yeah.
like
Sorry, go
it's
ahead.
the problem is that these kids are like piling on to queer creators for making like their own content. Like they're holding individual people more responsible than big corporations. So like because right now a lot of queer representation that's big is in kids shows, which means it can't get messy. So like people hold Steven Universe to be like the end all be all of queer representation, but like that's just one kind.
Right.
Like
Have
let
you
me
seen? Sorry, go ahead.
let me read more like Interview with a Vampire, like more garbage. Like I want garbage, okay?
You want
Give me
some
the
schlock.
McDonald's.
You want some
Yeah.
gay schlock. Like you want some True Blood.
Give me some problematic stuff. Give me some age gaps, man. I
You
need
want-
it.
That's the thing, is I think that's an interesting barrier, is because gay representation, like you said, like because it's still sort of new, like it's not new, but it's sort of like now in vogue to be like for it to be okay. Before it was very much like it's scandalous to have this like kind
Hush.
of representation. So now people are like afraid to do representation, but also to have like negative like have a bad guy who's gay, like because
Right.
but there's also, it's tough because there's a history of villains being gay coded.
Mhm.
So like your villain is very flamboyant, and like they're sort of, they have you could say like, oh, this villain is gay, and that's how you know they're gay, is because they act all like, oh ho ho, I have a
Well,
cat
even,
that I'm
like-
stroking in my lap.
Even Ursula from The Little Mermaid's queer coded because she's based on a drag queen.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. So like there's like that background to it, but then like also it is proper representation to have a gay character who sucks. Like who's
Absolutely.
not good. Like you have to have a piece of shit gay character, because otherwise like you can't have every gay character be like the smart person doling out wisdom. because that's also a stereotype. So, well, like you said though, having gay people on staff makes it so that it's easier to sort of do that sort of stuff, because like if it's like a straight person writing a gay person who's like a trash monster,
yeah, then
that
they're
looks a
more
lot
likely
different.
Their biases color it, whereas like oftentimes it's just a queer person telling their own experiences, and that's true for any marginalized demographic. Just put us in the office, we'll do it, we'll do the work.
Yeah, that's the thing that blows my mind, is there are so many people in like marginalized groups who are willing to do the work, who are there to hire, and like all these companies who are like willing to be like, hey, check it out, we want to be better at this, at least on face value, we want to superficially be better about this sort of stuff. So like all you gotta do is just like hire marginalized people and get them involved in these stories that you're trying to like push as like your thing, and like you've done half the work. Like the way I say it makes it sound like I'm saying you should exploit marginalized people, but it's not even. It's like,
just pay us, damn it.
Yeah, pay them.
Exactly.
Like they're willing to do the work. So it's interesting like how people are just like, hey, check it out, we put rainbow flags on things for the month of June. We're doing great. It's like,
it makes me think of Pride in Seattle, because there's what we call it, there's two prides. There's Big Pride and there's actual Pride. So Big Pride is like Citibank Pride with all the logos and the whatnot. Like obviously we're gonna slap some rainbows on for today, but we're still gonna deny you a loan for a house, sort of thing.
Right.
Whereas like actual Pride takes place in the neighborhood, and it's all the local businesses are just like, it's like a street fair almost. Everyone just comes out. They have a pamphlet that directs you to all the queer businesses in Seattle. So not even just for that day, but cool. Like, hey, you want to support queer stuff? Here's a list of queer businesses.
Oh, nice.
Perfect.
Yeah, and like that's much more fun. It's much more intimate. I took the day off of work, and I popped into the store that I was working in. I was working at a QFC at the time, and I just wanted to get cash back for a thing. And my boss saw me. I had a collar on, and she's like, "What are you wearing?" I was like, "It's a collar for Pride." And she was like, "Is that?" I was like, "It's just a fashion thing. Don't look too far into it." Because like I just like the aesthetic of them. Like it doesn't mean anything for me. Yeah, but like super tame too. Like it's like, dog, there's like somebody outside with a bondage dog mask, and this is what you're hung up on.
Yeah, I've gone to a Pride parade once or twice, because you are generally allowed to drink on the street and like they won't give a shit, and so I've enjoyed that aspect, and it was kind of cool. The one time, well, I guess it wasn't cool, it was actually kind of scary, but the one time somebody came up to us and like, help my boyfriend they drank too much and like they're feeling really sick, I'm gonna go get somebody, can you just watch them? And so we like hung out. So we watched the guy and like made sure that they were okay, and eventually like the boyfriend came back, got them, like they were feeling better by the time that they left, so we got to like help out, and it felt good because instead of like going to Pride and like feeling like a rubbernecker and like you know, I'm like here to drink in the streets, but like that feels a little disingenuous, I guess. But I guess the fact that I actually helped somebody have a better Pride makes me feel less like does that make sense? Does that make sense?
So I understand. It's
I'm trying to say, I'm trying to be
like,
an ally.
Yeah, no. Like definitely go to Pride, enjoy it, like spend your money, like support local business. Like just don't do that thing where like you like tell people, it's like, you can't wear that BDSM gear outside, it makes me uncomfortable. It's like, cool, this isn't your space right now, so GTFO.
Oh yeah, no, we definitely ceded the ground to like anybody. Like we were there
don't
to
be weird.
Enjoy the festive. We were there to enjoy the weird. We were there to not to enjoy the weird. You're not weird if you're celebrating Pride. I'm talking in circles now, but what I'm trying to say is
the whole point of Pride is like that you feel no shame in being who you are.
Yeah.
So be weird.
And we were enjoying that, and we were drinking in the streets, which again was a lot of fun to do. Because like we'd just walk by cops and like raise our paps and be like, "Hey,
hey, fuck off."
But yeah, so I don't know where I was going with the story. I helped, I guess.
You did a nice deed.
I did a nice deed.
Let the record show.
Ian, the best ally. Here we go.
Did it.
Write it in the sky.
You did it. You won the prize.
I did. I won best straight.
Oh
man.
boy.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised at like how little homophobia I've had to deal with since I moved out here. Like I think I've only had one incident, and even then it was pretty mild, which was just like Mel and I were like holding hands somewhere, and some guy was like, "No, girls, no, save yourself for the men," and we're just like, "Ain't no man good enough."
That sounds like toxic masculinity right there.
Oh, it
That
is.
sounds
It's
yeah.
just a man who's like, "Oh, I can't get a girl because they're all gay," and it's like, yeah, it's also your personality, my dude, but.
Yeah, it's 100% your personality.
Exhibit A.
I have standards. Are you Chris Hemsworth? No. Sorry.
Bad luck.
Yeah, man.
Maybe next time.
Maybe you should have been less of a shitty dude, and then you might have.
Maybe you should have been Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah, maybe you should have been Chris Hemsworth. Why don't you go to the gym, like, at all?
Well, that's like whenever I hear the nice guy thing, and it's like, okay,
Oh yeah.
what else do you got? Can you like play guitar? Can you like do something fun? Can you make a meal? Like, what's your personality, my dude? Nice is the basis.
Nice
Usually
is,
the
like, yeah,
people that are bragging how nice they are aren't very nice.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, they're nice until.
The lady doth protest too much.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's exactly. It's like they're nice, so they think they're like supposed to be rewarded, but it's like no, that's just what you're supposed to do every
You're
day.
doing
is
the
be a
bare
nice
minimum.
person. Congratulations. If
Do
if you were
more.
to get a salary, if you were to get a salary for your personality, being nice means you don't get taxed. That's
That's
how
a
that
good way to
shit
put
works.
that.
Yeah.
Oh, I
keep-
love Princess Peach.
I do like. I'm enjoying your drawing of Princess Peach very much. I feel like I use up a lot of space doing my
Out your
Pokemon
mind.
Snap Ian.
No,
But now
you're
I
good.
don't know what else to draw. I've done it.
I mean,
again.
we're approaching the
I like
end of
your-
the show.
Yeah.
Do you have?
If I get wrapped up in another drawing, I'll just end up. Yeah, it's better that I don't. Sorry, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
No, I mean, you could totally, draw. We still
got
got time. Sydney, do you have anything? you'd like
Chris
to-
Pratt. Chris Pratt.
Yeah, that's the voice I heard of him too.
I think. Can I just say real quick? Can we talk about the Mario casting before we do plugs? I know
Certainly.
you're
Oh,
just trying to get us
of
there.
course.
No, it's all good.
What do you think about the Mario casting, Sydney? I would love to hear your thoughts.
I hate it. It's just like someone did a really good video on YouTube about it where it's just like, what are executives thinking when they pick these celebrity castings? Because it's like regular people are gonna. It's not an unknown franchise that they have to talk up celebrities. Like everyone knows who Mario is.
Everyone knows Mario. People will go to a Mario movie. Don't need the star power to draw them in.
That's very
Also,
true.
star power
Yeah.
for like a voice never made sense to me because it's not like I'm like the person's like a lot of times. So like if you're advertising a celebrity as the voice, that celebrity is either just doing their own normal speaking voice, and that way, and then that's not really fun to listen to for a cartoon character, so I don't care. Or they're trying to disguise their voice, in which case I'm not gonna recognize the famous actor, so I don't care. Like, no matter what, getting like a famous celebrity to do the character's voice, unless the character's like personality just fits that person's natural speak. Like, unless you're like, oh, I really want to hear Ben Schwartz as this guy.
It kills me
doesn't
because
matter
they
to me.
have the perfect voice actor for Mario. He's been doing
Ron
it.
Martinet.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he is
he's
the
been doing it
voice.
for years. Yeah,
Yeah.
like it's one of those things where there's clearly it's like the decision for like the original like design for Sonic for the Sonic movie is like somebody
Oh
who has
my God,
nothing
yeah.
to do with the franchise, doesn't care about the fandom at all, made that choice.
Exactly.
That Sonic looked freaking horrible.
Of
I
all
will
the
tell you though,
people-
I do love the Sonic movie.
Do you love the
Yeah,
Sonic?
it was pretty-
I
it was
actually
pretty
watched
fun.
it again.
Yeah, it was fun.
I watched it again pretty recently, and
You just have to go in with no expectations.
You have to go in with absolutely no expectations. It's
Oh, to
not
have
a
a good
good
time.
movie. I will say
No.
that it's a fun movie.
Yes.
It's a lot more fun if you're fucking like drunk when you're watching it because.
Well, that's
it's
like the
easier-
thing is like with the rise of stuff like the nostalgia critic and whatnot, people have this idea that when they enjoy art, they have to one, have a reason, and two, it has to be good. And it's like you don't have to do anything. You don't go to McDonald's because it's good.
Right.
You go to
Yeah.
McDonald's because you want to eat garbage. Sometimes you just want to watch garbage.
It's
You
true.
can watch. You can. Yeah. Like ingesting garbage, be it like media or food, is fine unless it's like a health problem. In which case, I'm not even there to tell you to change your behavior. If you want to die by eating garbage, like that's fine. Like I don't know. I'm not gonna tell you how to live.
Zone Dog says,
But
I've been
I am
contrary to
definitely
that.
not one.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I'm just gonna say I'm not one to judge anyone's movie watching. Like Brandon knows. Like the kind
You're
of
not
shit-
allowed to judge anyone's movie watching. I've seen the stuff that you watch. I'm judging you right now.
Man, I should send you my library of garbage I watch.
I would love to. I'll peruse that happily.
Man, that's why I want you to watch that Frog movie, because that is pure, like, just, it's not even bad storytelling. The animation's bad. It's all bad. It's terrible. I
That
love
sounds-
it.
Is that
Right up
Mr.
my
Toad's
alley.
Wild Ride? Is that based
No,
on...
It's that French spy thing I was talking about.
Oh,
earlier.
right,
It's just-
right. Gotcha. I
it's
thought we were
all-
back on
it's all-
Ichabod.
No, Ichabod and Mr. Crane is a masterpiece.
Yeah, the animation's good, too.
Yeah, no.
Zone Dog says about Mario, he says, I'm contrary to that take. Still think a lot of live action folks make plenty of sense and do great in animation, but this does not excuse Chris Pratt. Yeah, that's a weird...
Yeah.
He's totally going to be doing a Mario voice, right? Like, he's got
yeah.
to.
Well, like, at least he's a fan. Like, it's not like he's never played a Mario. He was like, this is my childhood dream come true. So it's like, you know what? Good for you on that aspect. I still don't think you're the best for the job.
No.
I don't think he's the best for a job. I'm going to give them all a shot. I'm just gonna say that. I will give every single one of them a shot. Like
I am excited for Jack Black as Bowser.
I was
That
just
sounds
about
like
to
something I
ask
want.
if there were any of these people that we were like on board with. I'm looking at the list here. Fred Armisen is Cranky Kong, which sure, let's do
What?
that. Let's do that
I'm
definitely.
okay with that. I'm okay with that for sure. Oh,
I knew Donkey Kong was going to be in it, but I didn't know Cranky Kong. Dang. We're
Yeah.
just busting him out.
Donkey Kong is
I have a potion, and maybe you might want to drink it.
That's my Fred Armisen, by the way.
It says Charles Martinet is actually in the cast, who is the
Yeah, he's
actual
going to
voice
do
of Mario.
additional
appearance.
voices.
Which
Gotcha.
I'm okay with that. That's
Of all
kinda
the people
nice
who have to be
them going
pissed
like
about
that.
this casting, that guy has to be top of the list. He's like, what the fuck? Like,
I can
this is
see-
what I do.
Here's the thing. I think Chris Pratt can probably do an okay like Mario, like oh hey. He'll probably make it kind of gravelly, like oh hey. Like I
I'm
imagine.
scared of sexy Mario.
Here's the thing. I think Chris Pratt looks more like Mario than he sounds like Mario. So, like if this were
True.
like live action, I could actually see Chris Pratt more as Mario if it were live action. I think Charlie Day as Luigi is gonna be fine. Like he'll do a great.
I think
I'm-
he can do that.
I'm very I'm like I'm not gonna say whether he's the right casting choice or not, but I'm very excited to see his Luigi, I guess is where I'm coming from.
Yeah,
Like-
I don't think he's gonna sound like Luigi, like how we think Luigi sounds. Because Luigi, I think, goes like "Let's go."
Yeah.
Well,
I think
just a
his
more nasally
Luigi's
Mario.
More nasally Mario is exactly what I was gonna say too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. So I think his Luigi is gonna be scratchier, and he's gonna be like
Yeah.
"Hi."
I guess it
It's
just
gonna be
depends
like-
on which interpretation of Mario we're gonna do. Are we gonna do like Mario Super
Yeah.
Show, like, or the
That's
movie?
the point.
Okay, if anybody, I would rather Bob Hoskins returns as Mario.
There you go.
Bob Hoskins.
I don't
He
think he. Wait, is
live
he still
action.
alive?
I don't think so.
I'm checking right now. He
Get the Ouija
died,
board.
Unfortunately.
Yeah,
Get
he
the
died.
Ouija board.
Yeah, he it was we just watched we have a group that we watch bad movies in on Discord, and we just recently watched Double Dragon, and I feel like has very similar energy to the Mario movie. Like
Yeah.
very expensive to make, very far removed from the source material.
Yeah. 100%.
I
Very-
remember
very 90s.
asking. I remember asking Ian. You remember Boston from UU Arts, the
Yeah.
fencing instructor. He was also
Okay.
animation teacher. And I remember in his class, I was like, I guess we were talking about like old movies, and I was like, Boston, you were alive during like the Mario movie being out. What'd you think of that? And just in this very like very grave tone, he's just like, we do not speak of that, and just that was it. That was the end of the conversation. I was like,
I can absolutely picture Boston saying that too. That's so fucking funny. Boston's great. I love that guy so much.
We also got Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong.
yeah.
Seth Rogen is Donkey Kong.
Seems weird.
He's gonna. I think he's. If anything, I think Seth Rogen should have been the Donkey Kong with the sunglasses and like the guns who sells everyone weapons.
Funky Kong.
Oh,
Yeah, I think Seth Rogen as Funky Kong would have made a lot more sense. I think Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong, he's just gonna sound like Seth
I was
Rogen,
like,
right?
He can't do other
struggling
voices.
to remember like which Donkey Kong game did he sell guns in? But you were referencing a different character entirely.
Oh yeah, I did call him a Donkey Kong, and that was right. I messed you up.
Do you guys remember there was like an old Donkey Kong animated series, like back when like video rental stores were a thing?
Yes.
I remember like
Is it
Donkey
3D
Kong and a
animated?
crystal coconut. Yeah,
It's real awful.
it's where that
Is
meme
it-
comes from. The you can spank it once.
Okay, yeah, I do remember that. I've never watched those, but I kind of want to now.
I'm amazed
I
that you
rented
haven't
that
watched this,
tape.
Ian. It seems right up your alley. Just like
I just watched it so much. There was this knockoff Blockbuster in my neighborhood that we would rent it from all the time, along with our N64 cartridges.
Oh my god, I found it. The whole movie.
Beautiful. Watch it.
There you
I
go.
remember nothing about it.
I'm gonna post it in the bad movie night. We might have to.
okay. Sydney, do you have anything you'd like to plug?
If anybody wants to check out my Twitter, that's where I link everything. It's at CicLuna, CicLunaa. There's 2 A's in there because somebody else took the other one.
Can you
But,
spell that one more time?
CicLunaa.
Got it.
I posted it in the chat. If
Okay,
people
perfect.
want to see that. It'll pop up on the stream too, so people.
Yeah,
will be able
I
to-
post everything there. So
Is that correct? The one I posted in the thing. Are you able to see that right now?
wait, which one did you post it in?
I posted it in the Twitch chat. So that,
Oh, I don't have access to Twitch right now, so I
Oh,
can't
you're all good.
check.
Yeah, I believe you spelled it correctly.
okay.
Here, I can actually link to it too.
Oh, perfect.
Oh, I hope there's
Yeah.
nothing terrible on my Twitter right now.
That's okay.
Oh.
I mean, you people know that you drew for Ojoy Sex Toy, so I mean, I think that tells them a little bit about what they might come across.
Oh yeah,
in
and I'm in
the profile.
Genshin Impact right now, so that's where most of my art stuff is, and it's like, ooh, they're gonna be in for a ride.
Oh boy. Are you working on anything currently that people can sort of look forward to or anything like that, or is it all under wraps, NDA, or do you just? Not...
I haven't really been doing much of anything lately. It's so funny. I've been off work. I've been supposed to be doing stuff, and I just haven't. I'm working on going back to school. That's what it is.
Oh, gotcha.
I'm gonna go to the same programming thing my brother did and try to.
Oh, cool.
I want to get into games work, pretty much. Frankly, I would love to work on a gacha game where I just design cute waifus for the rest of my life. That would be fun.
That would be fun. I mean, that'd be probably a good time. Like people who make people who get those games like popular, like who make them, and then like that's their job for a while is just making like stuff for that game, and that's got to be pretty sweet. Like just steady work of like, oh, I'm just adding updates to this game that is making a lot of money. That sounds like a pretty.
To like my love for trading
Decent way to
cards,
make
because
money.
like I want to collect Pokemon cards again, but like they're ugly now, and I
Yeah.
can't afford the old ones.
So everyone in the chat, make sure you
I've-
let Sydney know how much you want to see her hot waifu Pokemon trading card game.
Give the people what they
Let her-
want.
Yeah, let Sydney know, and I'm sure that we can work something out.
Real quick, I was trying to link your Instagram. Is it art at the end?
Yeah. So it's
Okay, I got it then. I was just making sure I got the right one.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll paste it in here.
Bless.
So make sure you
There
check
you
out
go.
CC Luna stuff. She does really great stuff. And she's been a very good friend of mine since college, which is so long ago. I can't believe how long we've known each other,
Decades.
Sydney. It's been a while. But thank you so much I'm so glad we got you to come. I've been trying to get you
Yeah.
on this show for like the longest time, and the last time you were gonna come on is Brandon's internet like modem died, and he had to like get a whole new
I
internet.
remember that.
like,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I
like,
forgot
I
about
was
that.
so bummed, but like,
I remember because my wife was
obviously-
asking, like, "Are you doing that thing tonight?" I was like, "I should be." The last time I tried to get on, the internet died, so we'll see.
Good. Well, I'm glad it didn't
Oh.
happen this time. Sorry about that last time.
It all works
I'm
out.
glad we got you. And anytime you want to come back on, always happy to have you.
Yeah, for
Definitely.
sure.
I've got the time, so I'll definitely would not mind doing this more often.
Cool. That's great. I'm glad to hear that.
We'd be happy to have
And,
you.
yeah, absolutely. We need to get more guests on more often, especially
For sure.
guests who are really good artists, because
Makes us look better.
yeah. Is there anything else you want to plug, or do you want to like sign off on any notes, Sydney, before we start doing
Just- No, just thanks for having me. It's been fun.
Thank you so much for being here. I'm so happy that we got you on here finally.
Yeah, it was
Brandon,
nice to
do you
meet
have
you
anything
finally.
wanna plug?
Well, I do a show on Mondays. It's called DrawBomb. It's on Twitch.
Oh, cool.
Occasionally we don't do it when my modem breaks, but other than that, it's every Monday, 8 o'clock.
Yeah, Eastern time.
Right.
5 p.m. Sydney's time. In
Right.
Seattle.
Oh yeah.
Time
Again, we're
zones.
doxing her. So yeah, I guess on that note, I got nothing to plug myself. Something I'm working on is nearing completion, so I might be able to
Ooh,
tell
baby.
you guys about that in the coming weeks.
Ooh.
I certainly hope so if things work out. It's gonna be short but sweet, and I'm pretty happy with the people I'm working with, so that's cool. But I can't tell anything about that right now. And that's it.
All right, I'll play us off.
Okay. Oh yeah. Also, we can talk during the closing song. By the way, Sydney, that's totally fine.
Okay.
This closing song is one of the 808s remix that I've done. If you want to remix the DrawBomb theme song, send it to us and we will play it because
Yeah.
it was a cool idea, and I like that idea. Yeah.
I think that would be a lot of fun if people sent us some. But thanks
We
everybody
have
for
actually
watching.
We have one
Leviathan-
fan submitted.
Oh, go ahead. Oh yeah, we do.
Look.
From friend of the show.
Friend of the show. Guess the show.
Wait, what?
Oh, a friend of mine submitted a remix of the not this one. This one's
It just keeps
the
playing
intros.
through them.
just plays them all. Yeah. You got a
Nice.
sneak peek of a nice one. I did like 8, 9 remixes, something like that.
You were on a roll there for a minute. You were remixing nonstop.
I have a few more in me. I just haven't gotten around to doing this one.
All right. Well, on that note, thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks for joining us, Sydney. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.